Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind scrappywife.com. I have a lot of pictures, a lot of leftovers. Let's memory plan. All right, so this is my memory planner for 2023. I thought at the end of this video I would do a little flip through to update you since we're coming to the end of the first 3 months. That is crazy, 2023. But for this week, I am doing some memory planning. Let's see, for the week of March 13th through the 19th, I have a ton of pictures from this week, and I have a ton of leftover paper, leftover ephemera from the Hip Kit Club previous kits, just kind of all mixed together. And so this is going to be kind of an odds and ends week. Like I said, all these papers are from the Hip Kit Club. We're just going to see what we can come up with. So I will put you guys on fast forward. At the end, I will show you a flip through of my memory planner so far. Let's go. All right, so this spread ended up being a little bit of a departure for me. When I get beautiful scrapbooking papers like this one that are kind of intended for a 12 by 12 layout, I don't often think of using them in my memory planner, but I loved this kind of cluster of florals down in the corner, and I thought I might try something a little bit different. So here is what the plan is. I'm going to fussy cut out all around this big circle and figure out a way that it can work on my memory planner spread as like the whole circle. I think it'll be cool. I think it's a different way to look at it. Sometimes when you're memory planning, especially in a happy planner, you have these vertical boxes. You feel like things need to get lined up in the boxes. I am always trying to break the rules and like bust out of these boxes. I like the format of memory keeping in a planner. I like that the dates are at the top. It feels very orderly to me. So it just makes logical sense that you would have photos within a planner. That just totally makes sense. And people do memory planning all kinds of different ways. I think it's cool to take that concept, but then like push it a little bit by breaking out of the boxes. So here's what we're doing. We're adding adhesive all to the back. You can see I cut off a little bit at the top because I don't want to cover up the dates. I happen to really like the fact that the dates are at the top. I don't have to worry about dating certain photos or certain spreads. I know that it is narrowed down to that week, if not on a specific day, depending on how I end up documenting the photos. So that's kind of good enough for me. So we're going to put the two pages right next to each other like so. I'm being really careful to line it up. And then we're going to put this large circle down on the page and kind of use that as the jumping off point for the rest of the page. It's a different look, it's a different concept, but I kind of dig it, and it gives me some ideas because I do often get collections of scrapbook paper, whether I'm getting a big 12 by 12 paper pad or buying a whole collection where you have some pieces like this, and I wonder what am I going to do, or I always have to use the B side, but this is an option for sure. So let's grab the We Are Memory Keepers disc punch. I'm repunching all these holes. If I can, I normally opt for this disc punch. I just think it does a better job than my Happy Planner punch. And now we're ready to start adding on some photos. This happens to be a pretty busy week. We had a lot of activities, especially heavy on the weekend. When that happens, sometimes my pictures bleed from the right specific date, if that makes sense. So I kind of cluster them in some different ways. But I decided, because I have all of that beautiful color, I am going to go ahead and mat it. There's a lot of different pictures. I always print my memory planning pictures in color. Some people like to kind of wash theirs out so that the color is a little bit more neutral and easy to work with. Some people like to print them all in black and white, which I have done in the past for different memory planning spreads in a different memory planner. But for my family memory planning, I like to just print them in the color. And controversial, I don't do any editing on these photos at all. I don't change the color. All I do is just take them and print them because I find it easiest. And as soon as I start trying to edit the photos and change the brightness and all that business, it slows me down and I'm much less likely to get all of that memory keeping done. So I trimmed out all of these and I'm looking to see how I want to add on some of these different pieces here. So this is just a bunch of leftovers. I'm trying to like dig through my stash. I love the Hip Kit Club and I've been receiving it forever. I actually just put a pause on my subscription just because I have a ton in my stash. And when that happens, I just pause the subscription and then just make sure I'm using what's in my stash. It can be really easy to get overwhelmed, especially when you're doing a subscription service like that. And so don't be afraid to just hit pause on it. A lot of times if they do release a kit or something that you are loving, then you can just buy that kit separately. But for me, this will be a good chance to start kind of digging through some of the supplies. Once I've made a dent in what I have, then I will probably restart that particular subscription because I really like that company and I like the colors, I like the feel, I like everything about it. I just have a lot of stuff. Now, for this particular spread, once I had the pictures kind of laid out, I quickly realized that I wasn't really going to have room for journaling. There wasn't going to be a place for journaling on this page, and so I was going to have to tell the stories of what was happening in other ways, through the ephemera, through some of the word pieces and phrases that I'm picking and choosing. And that's another way to do this, and that's a really great way. You don't always have time to do the journaling or have space, especially I've had several people reach out and say, you know, they keep their photo memories on their currently page, or they keep it just random photos throughout their planner, or maybe you're documenting in like a traveler's notebook, or sometimes you have limited space and you have to be a little bit creative with how you're going to do the documenting. And for me, these word fetty pieces and things can really help tell the story, give the feels of what's going on the page. Now, there are a lot of pieces on this page, and I'm very carefully going through and starting to adhere everything down. It can be hard to do that. I would recommend taking a picture of your page. If you have laid it all out but not adhered anything down, maybe taking a picture of the page before you start putting things down, because as soon as you start moving pieces around, things can get mixed up and it can get all like out of sorts. And so maybe taking a picture of it before you start putting things down. I'm kind of working my way around. I know I don't want certain things covered up. I know where I want these clusters to go. So we're kind of fitting it all in here and there. And then once these are down, now I'm noticing that there are some holes, some places where I feel like it needs something else. So I'm digging back through the ephemera, and really we're just going for colors here. It doesn't all match per se. Some of it does, like the rainbow on bingo night works out really well because it happened to be on St. Patrick's Day and there were lots of rainbows, and some of it makes sense. Some of it is just to fill in a space. I like to use ephemera a lot to soften the edges of photos in my memory planning because it's a lot of rectangles. It's a lot of kind of sharp looking edges at different points in the memory keeping, and so I like to use the ephemera to cover up some of those corners just so it doesn't feel quite so, I don't know, jagged looking, I guess. So like for instance, this feather sticking out right here, it layers on that corner and just brings a little bit of a softness to it, which I happen to really like that particular look. You can add a few word fetty pieces here and there. At this point, I'm kind of looking at it and thinking it's pretty, I like it, it's full, but there's like something, I feel like it's just not quite coming together, if that makes sense. Like there's nothing cohesive between the two pages. You have that big scrapbook piece all along the back, but I still think it's kind of lacking. So as I'm putting on these last few pieces, I'm trying to figure out what I can do to bring the whole spread together. What can I add that is like a cohesive element that goes across both pages that will kind of make this work. So I'm going to fill in a few of the holes, and then we're going to try something instead of journaling, which again is one of the ways I tend to bring things together. We're going to try something a little bit different. So let's get this heart down and go see what we can find. All right, these are alpha pieces or alpha stickers from Creative Retreat Kits, which is a wonderful little faith devotional company that does Bible journaling supplies and things like that. And I used to be on their creative team. I have a ton of these beautiful alpha stickers. And I thought maybe if I repeat these alpha stickers on different parts of the page. They're all in a hexagon shape. I can add in some phrases that are very specific, and I can also have this repeated element, and I think it worked really well. I decided to go ahead and outline the different elements in a black gel pen just so that they popped a little bit more, but I was able to add specific words like brackets because I had pictures of my boys filling out their March Madness bracket, or I was able to add some different words like fun times or bingo night, just things like that that were really specific to this particular page. And so it helps tell the story without doing full on journaling, and it brings in this kind of cohesive element that brings both sides of the spread together. So once I added those and did all the outlining, then I was super pleased with the final result. It is a little bit of a departure for me, but I do like how this one came out. So maybe I'm going to have to try to push the envelope a little bit more in my memory planning, to try some new things and use some different kinds of scrapbooking supplies that I wouldn't normally do. So let me pop this back on the rings, and then I will show you a flip through of my entire memory planner so far. All right, so here is the completed page for this week. A little bit of a departure from what I normally do, but let's just do a quick flip through. I don't do anything on the January days, so that is that. These are kind of left over from before. Let's just jump into, ta-da, January 1st. Lots of journaling. Then we kind of combined two is what happened. So I need to put those together. Welcome 2023. Love all these pictures. It's so fun just to look back, just to have these to flip through. It's pretty darn cool. These are so neat. A little bit more neutral, getting started. Basketball was first getting started. That was crazy. It's been a crazy season. Oh, I made those with my Glowforge. Love, love, love seeing all the happy times. It's so funny how many pictures of me and Bradley cuddling there are. He's my little cuddle buddy for sure. Oh, this was a cool one with all of those circles. Super. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love looking back. See how fun. Now, I will go back and like adhere these together just so that there's less extra pages in here. I just don't use those monthly layouts. So many fun gymnastics meets that we've been able to go to. Oh, in the bathroom getting started. It's now done. Oh my goodness. This is just hotel room. It has been a busy beginning of the year, but so fun. I really liked this style of like tucking the pictures in. I like how that one came out. I like that one a lot, actually. Little winter celebration. This was when we went out for their birthdays. Oh, I love those. And then we got into Go Wild. So much fun. Oh, I love these. Oh, it's so fun to see back. And then it brings us to this week. I can't believe we're like a quarter of the way through the year. That is crazy pants. That's just crazy. So that's my memory planner so far. I have been keeping up with it pretty well this year. I'm still enjoying it. This is still a great way for me to keep track of our family, just our day in, day out, weekly stuff. I like having it all in one place. I like the journaling. This one is a little different because I didn't do any journaling on this one because there were so many pictures that kind of told the story. So, I hope you enjoyed it. I will link supplies down below. If you are interested in memory planning videos, definitely let me know down in the comments below so I can keep including those in kind of my regular video lineup. I want to give a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members. Thank you all so much for your support. We're having a fabulous time. There are memory planning videos over on Patreon as part of their exclusive. So if you're interested in checking out some of the perks and tiers and the great community that's over in Patreon, you can find the link for that down in the description box below as well. All right, I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.